Conscience Guide Team by Sheepdog and Shepherd.
Conscience Guide Team 13.2 Peer Pressure.
Don't jump, Humphrey. You'll get hurt.
Go ahead and jump, kid. You won't get hurt. They'll make fun of me if I don't jump.
A dictionary defined peer pressure as the strong influence of a group, especially of children, on members of that group to behave as everyone else does.
A blog categorized peer pressure as active or passive. Active peer pressure refers to the overt action of someone from the peer group to influence someone in the peer group to do something. Passive peer pressure refers to the need for someone in the peer group to model or mimic the actions of members in the peer group in order to gain acceptance and affirmation.
Whether peer pressure is characterized as positive or negative reinforces the importance of this channel, Conscience Guide Team. The phenomenon of peer pressure compels us to come to grips with what we identify as our moral code. While your peer group may consider an action positive, that action may violate your innate moral code, resulting in injury to others and a tormented conscience. All too often, peer pressure results in bad choices: bullying, sexual activity, drug use, alcohol use, violence to self and others, stealing, and lying.
The need to fit in compels many to succumb to peer pressure.
All too often, the need to fit in and acquiesce to peer pressure results in permanent injury or death. All too often, the need to fit in and acquiesce to peer pressure results in violating one's conscience and selling one's soul. Is fitting in worth the price of your conscience, your soul?
Two stories from ancient literature record how two men and one woman were praised for standing tall against peer pressure. In the first story, Joshua and Caleb, along with 10 others, were sent on a reconnaissance mission to report on the land of Canaan. Joshua and Caleb returned and advised their people to go in and take the land of Canaan. Regrettably, the people listened to the other 10 who advised against going into Canaan. In fact, the people were so infected with the report of the 10 that they wanted to kill Joshua and Caleb. Joshua and Caleb stood firm against peer pressure. As a result, the deity of the people punished them by making them wander around in the wilderness for 40 years until that entire generation of feckless people died off. In contrast, the deity gave Joshua and Caleb a splendid inheritance. In the second story, Rahab of Jericho stood firm against peer pressure by protecting 2 men who sought refuge in her home. The leaders of Jericho intended to kill the 2 men. Rahab protected them from certain death. As a result, Rahab is regarded as a splendid example of faith and courage.
Life is filled with moments in which we must decide whether to fit in or stand firm. Will you go the way of Joshua, Caleb, and Rahab? If you decide to fit in and succumb to peer pressure, you may find yourself wandering around in a wilderness with no one to blame but yourself. Special acknowledgement to our references.
Special thanks to voiceover artists Sharon Kay and Rick. Content consultant Ed.
Thank you for watching our presentation on matters pertaining to conscience. Please subscribe and offer your comments. Produced by Sheepdog and Shepherd, a.k.a. M. Gilbert Steiner, author of The Short Man of Nuremberg.